such a naughty boy. Headmaster, I am at your mercy. I've been such a little fool. I've dishonored one who trusted me. I have broken all the rules. I've been with those naughty little girls again. Now those naughty little girls are gonna put me to shame. I wish that I'd been born with a little more sense. This time it's a serious offense. I feel like an innocent victim. I feel that I just can't win. Headmaster, please give me one chance. Please help me to act like a man. I've let down the school. I've broken all the rules. I've let down the side. I've committed a crime.
At around the same time as I had my gifting tree, I also established a gifting stump. It also was located along a little used trail and was probably about 100 yards up a steep, mossy slope in a secluded little place that was very, very private. And much like the gifting tree, I had a really breakthrough moment there early on. One day as I was walking along the path and headed towards the gifting stump, I noticed a big blocky A on the trail directly below the gifting stump. And of course the A was Ari's signature. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure if at that time, because this was in 2012, if I knew it was Ari's signature. I believe I did. But I'll be honest, I'm not quite sure. But anyway, there was a big blocky A there, and it was directly underneath the gifting stump that, as I said, was located about 100 yards up the slope. Now, on that particular day, when I went there and saw that blocky A and walked up the slope, I discovered something amazing. Much like I did at the gifting tree, I would tie a little bag of my offerings and gifts and hang it from the stump and or a small tree that was directly beside it. And on this particular day, as I went up there after seeing the blocky A-glyph directly below, I walked up the slope and arrived at the stump and noticed that at the base of the tree that as I said, was directly beside the stump, was a huge footprint. Just one single footprint, and it was right up against the tree, and it was obvious that it was pushed in for emphasis so that I couldn't miss it. Now, it was a huge footprint, probably 18 inches long. And so I'm thinking it was probably RE's. And although they didn't take the gifts from this particular gifting area as often as they did at the gifting tree, they did at times, don't get me wrong. But this footprint that was put there with emphasis for me to see was acknowledging that at least they were appreciative or knew that I was leaving gifts, and it was their answer. And that was an absolutely amazing moment. You got to remember, this was 2012. I had not been at this long, and to see that footprint there was remarkable. It was absolutely remarkable, and yeah, I was very grateful, very humbled, and it was just a wonderful thing. Now, because this area was much more remote than the gifting tree, I would often go up there and spend a good amount of time just meditating and thinking about the forest people and just sitting there relaxing and that kind of thing. And often I could hear them walking around me, although I didn't see them. Sometimes I would get a scent of them and feel them energetically. I could feel their presence. And on one particular day, I went up there and decided to have a nap. And when I awoke from my nap, my entire body was buzzing from head to toe, vibrating or buzzing, I guess is how I would describe it. And my impression was that they were giving me a healing or working on me in some way. But it was really, really, really obvious. My entire body was vibrating, like I said. And I've had many experiences with them with energy. This one was quite unique onto itself. And so it was quite different. And the fact that I just woke up from a nap and had that happen was also quite unique. Now, one of the most beautiful things that I can relate that happened there happened when I was conversing with them, and I was standing up by the gifting stump and looking off into the woods beyond it. And I said the words, "I love you," 3 times. And on the word I would put my fingers to my breastbone to signify me. And when I said the word love, I would move my hands over my heart And on the word you, I would reach my hands out and wide. And so I repeated the phrase, I love you, 3 times, each time repeating the pattern with my hands. And at the very instant, the exact instant, when I said, I love you, for the 3rd rotation, I received a very loud, clear, hollow wood knock. That signified that they heard it. And it was beyond words. It's something I'll never forget. I was expressing my gratitude and my love to them, and they were acknowledging it, that they heard it. And the knock was very, very clear and crisp, like I said, hollow. There was no other explanation for it. It was obviously them listening and acknowledging what I said, and I'm forever grateful for that. And it's one of the moments that I will always remember fondly. Another amazing episode happened over the period of a couple trips up the trail towards the Gifting Stump. And the first incident happened when I was walking along the trail, and I looked to my right just off the trail, and I saw a really unique glyph. It was 2 peeled sticks leaned up against a rock, and the rock had a smaller rock on top. And it was quite unique. I've seen glyphs with rocks, peeled sticks, ferns, all kinds of different things. But this one was very, very unique, different than anything I had ever seen. And so I continued along on my walk, and as I passed it on the way back, because I went in on the trail and came back the same way, back to the car along the trail. And as I came back, I noticed that the glyph had changed. One of the peeled sticks, well actually both of the peeled sticks were a little different. The one on the left was there was a different angle and slightly further down on the rock. And the one on the right was really down a lot, almost lying on the ground. And it was propped up by a little snap piece that kept it a few inches off the ground. Now, shortly after that, I was heading up that trail again, and a thought came into my head. And once again, I've talked about thought placement. This was obviously to me, an example of thought placement. Because as I was walking along the trail, I wondered, I wonder if that glyph is still there. The one I just mentioned with the rocks and the peeled sticks. And as I walked along the trail, I looked for it. I was very focused on seeing it at that point. And as I said, the glyph was just off to the side of the trail. So I passed the area where I thought it was. It was not there. It was absolutely not there. No way that I missed it. So I continued along, went up to the Gifting Stump, sat up there for maybe 15-20 minutes and meditated a little bit, connected with my forest friends. And on my way back down the trail, I would say much to my surprise, except there's not much that they do that surprises me anymore, but perhaps a better word would be much to my delight. As I walked back along the trail towards the car, I saw that the glyph was back. and it looked very much like the first time I saw it. And, you know, just another lesson in what they can do. And perhaps their humor and other reasons, but it was pretty darn cool. There it was, totally intact, when just 10 minutes or 15 minutes before, it was nowhere to be found. Another incident at the Gifting Tree that I will never forget was some years back when Sue and I were doing a smudging ceremony there. We were sitting around and putting the smoke on us. As I said, doing the smudging ceremony. And Sue was facing me and I was facing the other way. And as the ceremony was going on, I noticed a giant bird flew into the forest canopy and landed on a branch not that far from us and observed us. My first impression, believe it or not, was that it was a pterodactyl, which, you know, I suppose is ridiculous. But it was that big. It was huge. It was a monstrous bird, and it didn't register with me what it could be. In retrospect, and doing a little research, it may have been a golden eagle. But its behavior and the way it acted, I'm sure that it was a spirit bird, or it was a Sasquatch shape-shifting into a golden eagle, because, as I said, it flew into the forest canopy and landed on a branch not far from us and just sat there and watched us. And I told Sue, I said, Sue, grab the camera. But Sue's a stubborn one. And maybe she didn't realize the magnitude of the bird, or didn't realize, I guess she just thought it was a regular bird. But in any event, she insisted that we were going to finish the ceremony first. So I wasn't one to argue with her, so we did. But needless to say, I wasn't paying much attention to the ceremony or the smudging after that. I had my mind focused on the bird, and I watched it the whole time, intently watching us. Now this went on for a number of minutes. And as soon as we were done the ceremony, I asked Sue for the camera, which she did give me, and then I said, look at that bird. Now as soon as she handed me the camera, the bird flew off, and I was not able to get a picture. And it was so large that it had to bring its wings into its body so that they were only half as wide, and it kind of maneuvered out of the forest canopy. Sue initially didn't see it until, I guess it was in flight, because she was expecting just a small bird, and she was quite shocked when she actually did see it and how big it was. But that was a very, very spiritual, connected moment, and I'm sure there was more going on than just a bird flying in and watching it. I've had so many experiences with the Sasquatch shape-shifting into other animals, suspicious behavior, and I do suspect that was what was going on here, but it was really a remarkable time, something I really cherish. You know, just to see a golden eagle, a real golden eagle itself, do something like that would be amazing, but the circumstances to me spoke of more than that, and it's a memory I will always cherish. So in summation, I would like to include one more story that is not actually specific to the gifting tree, but is specific to gifting, and actually it did happen in the vicinity of the gifting tree, very, very close in fact. As a matter of fact, it happened at the place where, God willing, we will be hosting the first annual RE and family campout. So, Sue suggested last November that she bring some turkey up and that we leave them a gift of turkey for Thanksgiving. And I thought that was a great idea. I thought, yeah, let's give the guys some turkey dinner. I thought that was cool and a beautiful gesture on her part. So she did bring it up, and we put it in a really, really big freezer bag and hid it away in a tree in a little hidden area where people wouldn't find it. And the next day, Sue and I were back in the woods, and I got an energy confirmation from them, a very strong knowing that they had either taken the turkey or at the very least that they were acknowledging it. And so we went back to the spot where we left it, and sure enough, the turkey was gone and the bag was gone. There was absolutely no sign that an animal had gotten into it. It was, all evidence was completely removed. And right there on the ground, in the exact spot where we had left the turkey, was the most loving, beautiful gift that I could imagine. A very, very special gift and a gesture from their heart. And what it was is they left us 2 fern fronds bouquets. 2 beautiful bouquets, side by side, one for Sue and one for me. And, that's the kind of thing that can bring you to tears instantly. It's beyond description how that makes you feel. It's just an absolutely beautiful gesture and a token of their love, which they have no problem showing and do all the time. So, thank you for listening. It's always a pleasure talking about the forest people.
I've gotta stop faking it. I've gotta start facing it. I'm gonna take my final bow. Then I'm gonna take my place in the crowd. I know I'll get used to it. I've gotta stop acting like a clown. I've gotta start facing up to what I really am. I've got to realize I'm just an ordinary man. I think that I'll just settle down and take my place in the crowd. I don't wanna lie to myself anymore. Am I just the face in the crowd? Is that all I'll ever be? I don't wanna be anything that isn't really me. Mister, can you tell me who I am? Do you think I stand out, or am I just a face in the crowd? Mister, can you tell me who I am? Do you think I stand out, or am I just a face in the crowd?